Recycling is probably already a part of your life to some degree. You may recycle at work, you may recycle at home. The problem is it gets really tricky to know exactly what do you recycle, and these things can change by city, by town, by state, even by the year. We're gonna see how you're gonna do on our recycling quiz today on Mom Ed Green Living. Hi, I'm Kristin Eichel, and welcome to today's show. I've got Gia Macklin, who's the founder of EcoPlum.com. I'm so glad you're here with us today because recycling truly is different. I know where I recycle in my neighborhood is completely different than where my family in upstate New York recycles.
Right. I live in Manhattan, and what we can recycle in Manhattan is completely different from what you can recycle where you live in California.
Yeah, for example, certain things can go in, certain things can't, they have to be cleaned. What do you do about all this?
Well, luckily there are resources that you can use online. On EcoPlum.com, we do have a widget on our site where you can put in your zip code and the type of material that you want to recycle, and it'll tell you where you can recycle that.
So given that recycling can be a little bit tricky for some people at home in different communities, would you mind helping us with a little bit of a quiz?
I would love to.
All right. What are we going to start here?
How about a milk carton?
That's a good one. I know in my community, you cannot recycle this.
That's so interesting because in New York City, these can be recycled. So,
really?
Yeah. Not the caps, but carton. Oh, this is my favorite. Those great plastic deli containers. This number 5 plastic is sort of everywhere.
But you really are going to need to check your local community to see if they do recycle these.
They do recycle them in California, is that right?
I'm pretty sure they do. I'm going to have to check myself. So we should put that, in the questionable one to make sure you ask the question. Oh.
Plastic water bottles.
Yes, our favorite.
So the good news is that these bottles pretty much can be recycled anywhere. Unfortunately, only about 2 out of every 10 bottles are getting recycled right now, so we do need to bring that number up.
The thing is, though, the lid.
It's a different kind of plastic, so you want to make sure you separate that out. Also think about it before you buy bottled water because a lot of times it's just the same as tap water.
You know, that's a really good point because a lot of people think like, oh, it's in a bottle, it's got to be cleaner, but that's not necessarily true because the local community water is actually tested by the government. Who knows if this was even tested at all, so. All right, oh yes. What are we going to do with that?
Well, not recycle it with peanut butter in it. Most places that I know of do not allow you to have any kind of food in your containers before you recycle them.
Yeah, the issue with this is it doesn't have to be squeaky clean with soap in the dishwasher, but this food residue left in here becomes a contaminant in the plastic, and then they can't use the plastic. It will ruin the process, and I think that should be put over there. Yeah. All right, now this is a tricky one. This was a tricky one for even our experts here. Paper.
Okay, well, white paper is great because it can be recycled pretty much anywhere, but you want to be really careful not to be mixing the colored paper with the white paper because the colored paper has dyes in it, and the dyes can contaminate the process of recycling the white paper.
The white paper won't be so white anymore.
That's right, so you want to check.
So what I found really interesting about this, for example, shredded paper, is that it really is going to depend upon your community and the process that they use to break down the paper.
That's right. The reason that shredded paper is not always recyclable is because the pieces can be too short or actually too small to bind together with the other material in the recycling process.
All right, I've got a good one for you. What about stuff like this, little squeezy packs?
Those pouches, those are not recyclable in most places, but what's good about it is that a lot of companies are using these and upcycling them into other products. Glass.
I love this one.
It's really wonderful. It can be recycled almost anywhere, and it's a really easy material to recycle. You can repurpose it as well.
And I love the idea of repurposing. In fact, sat down with my dear friend Sophie Uliano from GorgeouslyGreen.com, and she had a great idea about repurposing. It's time for Gorgeous. What's gorgeous about recycling?
Gorgeous is saving money, basically. So don't throw away your old cleaning sprayers. Keep them. Fill it with equal parts of white vinegar and water, and it will make the best mold and mildew spray imaginable. Keep it in
my
your
bathroom. Love it. So recycling isn't just plastic or glass, it's also e-waste.
Yes, e-waste is very important not to put in the garbage because it is hazardous material and it can get into the environment. Electronics, TVs, stereo systems, DVD players, all of those should be recycled. And there are community e-waste drives at least once a month. There are also big electronics retailers that do take back e-waste.
Well, for example, things like batteries, they leach all kinds of toxic chemicals, mercury not the only one, into the groundwater. That groundwater goes directly to the fish, into the plants, to the ecosystem, and then next thing you know, you're drinking it.
Another thing that's very toxic is the compact fluorescent light bulbs. It's important to understand that they have mercury in them, and they cannot go in the regular trash. They need to be collected and recycled separately.
I think it's very important to not only find recycling in our home, but also ways that we can inspire recycling in the world around us, in our communities, in your schools. Demonstrate this to your kids by starting a recycling program in your school. Could be public, could be private, but oftentimes the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? Get a couple of teachers involved, get your principal on board, and before you know it, your entire school can be involved. That's the way you're going to change the world, one mom at a time. Gia, thank you so much for your expertise and walking us through all of this. Thank you for watching and for, of course, recycling. Make sure that you post your comments below and subscribe to us, CafeMom Studios on YouTube. You do not want to miss a single episode. I'm Kristin Eichel, and this is Mom Ed Green Living. Next time on Mom Ed Green Living, tell me what upcycling actually is.
It's taking something and repurposing it, giving it a new life. I don't need to go out to the store and buy something. I can make something, and that sends a really nice message.